Hello, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me. Today let's talk about the pre-loved luxury market. I have made videos before talking about how the pre-loved luxury market was dead. Resale was effectively dead. The market was stagnant. Bags that had been so sought after and very popular and fastest fingers first as to who could buy them were sitting in consignment stores, not being sold, being reduced, being advertised and advertised and advertised because nobody was shopping the resale market the way they had during lockdown and directly after lockdown. There was definitely a hype and a bubble, and like all bubbles, they burst. But let's talk about it. Is it that the resale market is now stagnant and dead and the bottom has dropped out of it? Or is it just that it's what it's supposed to be? Is the resale market going back to where it was pre-lockdown actually what the resale market is meant to be? It's supposed to be, because let's get real. The luxury resale market, we call it that. We call it pre-loved. We call it resale because these things are very, very expensive, and it sounds better than saying we're shopping second-hand. It sounds better than saying it's a second-hand store. Pre-loved. When I talk about pre-loved bags, my husband laughs. Pre-loved, second-hand. That is what it is. But when it's items at these prices, we try to carry through a little bit of the luxury experience and the luxury buying experience into what is effectively the second-hand market for luxury bags by doing what luxury stores, luxury sellers do best. Putting it in a pretty box, wrapping it up with a pretty bow, and making it appear something that is wow and luxurious and that we want and that is sought after. But it is a second-hand market. Dale put out a video very recently talking about how she has started to shop a lot more pre-loved and discussing whether or not she was kind of giving up on the boutique experience or if she was now team pre-loved. And the reason I mentioned Dale in that, one, because her video has sparked me thinking about this, but two, because Dale was always very openly somebody who didn't really love to shop pre-loved. She was very openly a supporter of the boutique experience. It would have to be quite a significant saving for her to look pre-loved. That was just the way she preferred to shop. I would say that I was probably somewhere in the middle. I have always enjoyed the boutique experience, especially whenever you get to a point where you go into stores and you're very comfortable and you know the sales associates and you get a very lovely experience, and it's a day out and it's the best crack and it's an event almost. It becomes buying your bag or buying your piece becomes an event, a special event that you can remember, and it's a memory. I've talked in this channel about my mum's 70th birthday. I arranged to take her to Dublin. Louis Vuitton in Dublin made her feel so special. It was part of the gift, was not just the bag that she bought, but it was the whole experience. And that is one of the things that the boutique experience does that the resale, pre-loved, second-hand market can never do. You can never replicate that. You can never have an experience of buying online, pre-loved, and the packaging, the way it comes, it's the same as the boutique experience. One thing I will caveat that with, having recently been in the Fashion File store in New York, when you do get luxury consignment stores and large stores like that, they do go some way to replicating that experience. Fashion File, I think, and there are a few in the UK. I haven't personally been into designer exchange in store, although I have ordered from them online. There's Luxury Promise, Cellier. I haven't been in those stores, but stores like that, I would say, come closer to replicating the luxury experience and giving you the feeling that what you're doing is an event. Certainly, we've all talked in our vlogs from New York about how Fashion File was a fabulous experience. But it is not just the same, especially if you're ordering online and it comes in a brown box and it doesn't have full set. Even if it does, it's still not the same experience. But to get that experience, you certainly pay for it. Dale's video made me reflect on my own buying habits recently. And it was only whenever I was watching Dale's video that I realised that in 2024, and we are now towards the end of September, I have not bought any bags in 2024 new from the boutique. Now, I'm not saying I deserve a medal for that, but for me and my shopping habits, that is new. That's definitely a change to how I have been heavily shopping over the last number of years. Over the last few years, I would say I have bought multiple bags from store repeatedly year on year. To have now had a year where, having just come back from New York, I have bought quite a few bags. I think I've bought 5 bags this year. The only bag that I bought from an online retailer new in Net-a-Porter is the Olympia Le Tan book bag that's up there. But if we're talking Chanel, Louis Vuitton, Dior, those sorts of brands, all of the bags I have bought have been pre-loved. And part of that, I think, is the resale pre-loved market is back to what it should be. And I do think that the hype that was caused by the bubble and how the resale market became, when we were buying bags pre-loved, we were buying sometimes hugely over the retail price for a bag that was second-hand. And I made a video on one example that I thought was what was wrong with the resale market. And that video came out of me being, quite simply put, aghast whenever I saw the listing for the bag. And it is, of course, the Chanel Pearl Mini. A lot of you know that bag's been on my radar for a long time. I really love it, but I think the price it's gone to has priced me out of ever buying that bag. And the one example that made me make the video that this is what's wrong with the resale market, this is nuts, this is crazy, that sellers are expecting to sell their second-hand bags even if they're sought after for this sort of money, and this is impacting the resale market, because I do believe that a lot of us went through that bubble, bought those bags over retail, and then we all kind of got a bit sick of it. And we all got a bit fed up with the whole world economy changing and the cost of living crisis and the brands themselves continually putting up prices, which was driving up the resale prices even more. We all got a bit fed up with it. Who wants to be spending 15 grand on a bag that cost 5 in the boutique? None of us. Birkin, yes, I paid well over retail for that. Probably an exception because I didn't do any of the pre-spend in the boutique. But the Pearl Mini bag that made me make that video, and yes, appalled me at the price, was £16,500 sterling. That is around about $19,000. That is about €18,000. It's an awful lot of money. For Australia, that's probably be about 33,000 Australian dollars. Yes, I said that figure. That's what you heard. That was crazy. There are now currently 3 Pearl Minis available on the resale market. And I think you fabulous global sourcing team have probably sent me them all. And they are all ranging between a roughly £11,000 sterling, just under £11,000 sterling, to about £12,500 sterling. Now, I am not saying that's reasonable. No, I have not bought any of those bags because that is a ridiculously large amount of money for said bag. But it is beautiful, it's very sought after, it's become a bit of an icon piece. That is now £11,000 to £12,500, when only a number of months ago when I spoke to you about that other bag, it was £16,500. So we are seeing the prices coming down. That one's still a very high example, but it's a very specific bag, and there will always be specific examples of very sought after bags that are commanding much more on the resale market than what a lot of the everyday normal, if you can call luxury bags normal, bags will do. I am in the process of pulling bags together, and I keep changing things around and trying them on and deciding, because I want to be sure before I decide on what bags I'm going to put on my vlog sale. That is because I have got a lot of new bags and I probably have just too many to be able to rotate and wear. Some of them I'm just not using as much and I don't love enough to keep. And also I have widened my horizons to be looking at some different styles of bags, and I want to replace having a lot of the same style with some newer styles. All of the bags, it will come as no surprise, that I will be selling in the vlog sale are under retail. And that is not me being some good Samaritan and deserving a medal. That is how it should be. I have always tried to price my bags very reasonable in vlog sales, especially if it's selling to one of you guys. But it should be a given that unless it's a Birkin or a Mini Kelly or one of these very, very hard to get bags, that they're under retail. Even the ones I've never used are under retail because it is a second-hand pre-loved market. And is it not, rather than that the resale market is dead or stagnant, actually it's coming back to life. And it's coming back to life and getting a second burst at life because it's gone back to what it should be. And it's becoming what a second-hand pre-loved market should be. It should be somewhere where you can find beautiful bags. Let's be careful about what Connor describes as somebody's dirty old peekaboo or whatever the phrase he used. But be careful about people selling bags in the pre-loved market that are very, very heavily worn. If you're buying that and you're happy to buy that, make sure you're getting the price that justifies the condition of the bag. And people did fall into the trap when the market was at its height of trying to sell bags that were very worn for very high prices. No, just no. So if you are going down that route, look for the bargain if the bag has been heavily worn. If you are looking pre-loved, it is becoming more of a buyer's market. And I think whenever we looked at it previously for the resale market becoming stagnant and dead, was looking at it from how long it was taking these bags to turn around. Bags were sitting on the market that would have been selling like that. Whenever people were selling bags privately, vlog sales from YouTubers like myself, or people putting things into consignment, there was a very visible and obvious slowdown. Normally whenever you listed a bag in the hype, they were going like that. You literally couldn't keep up with the messages and the emails coming in from people that wanted to buy the bag. But there were bags then going on that people were putting up for sale, and putting up for sale at reasonable prices, let me say, that were sitting for a long time and not selling the way they used to. So yes, I do think there is a bit of a slowdown to that market, but that slowdown is coming from no market can sustain a hype level or a bubble level. It's the same as the housing market when it crashed. When there is all of a sudden interest and things explode and are selling off the shelves quicker than they can restock them, that is not generally sustainable and it will fall. We have entered into a time where the world economy is very precarious. There is a global cost of living crisis. People are struggling. There is a hugely different economy out there. There's a lot of different things to be taken into consideration, and that's obviously going to have an impact on the level that people are buying. But if we go beyond the level of it having settled down, given the economy and bags sitting for longer, what is starting to emerge through, and I said in a video previously when I talked about the pre-loved market being dead or stagnant, is watch this space. And if there are bags that you have been looking for and waiting for, they're going to come on eventually if you're patient, and you're going to get them at a better price. It's going to go back to the times whenever you could actually get a bargain. Now, like Dale, I will shop the bag. When I look at the pre-loved market, I'm not looking by price. I'm looking by bag that I have missed or bag that I want, and then the price follows secondary, and if it's a price that I'm prepared to pay. But if you have the patience to look for bags that you've missed, like this one, like the Fluoro Petite Mal, there are definitely trends emerging where these are coming through at better prices, and they're coming through at more reasonable prices, and the market's starting to come to life again. And it's, I don't think, to the level it was, prices or volume, but it's starting to come to life again with people buying pre-loved again because the prices are becoming more sensible. You can take your time generally. Generally, you can think about a bag a little bit more. This is a perfect example. I had been obsessed with this bag, obsessed. And if you watch or follow me on Instagram, she's basically taken over my Instagram page because I'm in love with her. I think she's fabulous. But I had been stalking this bag on Fashion File, and it was sitting for a while, and I talked to you guys about 2 months before I went to New York saying, what am I going to do? Because I really don't want to miss that bag. I love that bag. But I want to buy it in New York. I want to try it on. I want to check the size. I want to check strap drop. I also want the experience of buying it in New York with my friends. But it was still there. There were actually two of them. This one and one that was in slightly better condition that was more expensive. But there were two of them sitting still whenever we went, and I paid under retail for this. This actually was a very good price. And coming on to Fashion File, I'm obsessed with Fashion File, not sponsored. I just love the stock that they get, and I watch Fashion File a lot, and I will go on and have certain searches that I will do regularly. And what we are also seeing on Fashion File more often now are sales. Fashion File have always routinely put on a flash 10% sale on sale or codes to use. But because I'm watching that site quite a lot, I have noticed that they're more regular. There's more of them. There's more reductions. I know when I bought this, there was an 8% reduction on this for Gabrielle Chanel's birthday. And there are just more of those codes coming through. There was an article that I read quite some time ago when I was researching the pre-loved market, and I can't find it, but it was somebody that was talking to one of the owners or one of the people high up on Fashion File, and they were saying how much it had slowed down and how they had seen that their stock was sitting a lot longer. It wasn't selling at the same speed. It wasn't selling at the same prices. And I think that's reflected on the prices that you're seeing coming through and the sales that you're seeing coming through. Now, there are still some bags on Fashion File priced very high. I do think that. But there are others that are becoming more reasonable, and this actually had the 10% reduction on it. Because if a bag sits for a certain length of time, it gets reduced by 5%, then 10%, and I think it keeps working up. And if that's happening, that is evidence in itself that these bags are sitting. There are more bags on Fashion File that you would have not had a chance to get fingers first, that you're now seeing the 5 and the 10% reduction being applied to. So yes, it's slower, yes, it's more considered, but it is coming back to life, as in to what it should be. To an opportunity to buy bags below retail. This was below retail. The Fluoro Petite Mal that I bought in Fashion File was below retail. The La Pausa bag, this one, was less than half price. I did say when I unboxed this, I love this, but this is not for everybody. She was not a favourite in the vlog. Somebody posted a comment on that video of the unboxing of this saying that bag was half price because nobody wanted it. Great! I love that nobody else wanted it, because then I get a bag that I wanted for half price. I don't care if anybody else wants my bags. I love my own bags, shop them for myself, so I'm delighted when nobody else wants one and I get it at a very good price. That works for me. That is a win for Amelia. This bag, the 30 Montian box bag that had been on my wish list for the longest time, I paid less than half price for. And this is evidence of where the pre-loved market's going. Coming back to life, but at a market that is more reminiscent of what I used to find the market to be. When I was looking for bags, when I was searching for bags, I didn't expect to buy over retail. I didn't expect to pay premiums on the resale market before we hit that bubble that was lockdown. And what I think is happening now is that it's becoming a buyer's market. I think that you are finding these bags better prices, more what we should be paying, more chances to get a bargain. I love these, and these are both bargains. Both of those below retail. Fabulous. It's what the market should be, and it is coming back to somewhere that's fun. A market that is fun to look at, fun to search for, fun to see what bags you can find, what price you can find them for. I, for one, am loving it. I love that it is becoming more of a buyer's market than a seller's market, and that's from somebody that sells bags, because I don't expect to make money on my bags. I'm quite happy to be, as the buyer, getting the bargains and selling my bags on at reasonable prices. So these are my thoughts on where the pre-loved market currently is and how it's coming back to life, and I'm loving it. And I've bought so many bags this year, all pre-loved. What do you think? What are you finding about the market? Are you loving this shift that you can find things at better prices? Did you prefer whenever you could get the very sought after things and were prepared to pay the extra money, but you knew that you could get them? What's your thoughts? Let me know, because obviously when it slows down and the price is a bit lower when it's being sold, there will be less sellers willing to sell certain things, and that may impact the ability to be able to buy bags that you've been looking for. So I do think there's going to need to be more patience and more time waiting if there's specific bag you're waiting on to come up. I waited a very long time on that. That just didn't seem to be coming onto the resale market. It was, yeah, a bag that neither Meredith or I could find, because we all knew that I wanted it. And yes, that does mean that if you wanted to be able to get things quickly, there's going to be a slowdown. But let me know what your thoughts are on this. I also think this has an impact on consigners. I think that not all consigners will survive. I think that there was a flurry of people who became consigners over the lockdown period and were used to that type of pricing. And maybe we will see that there's a few less of them, or you'll see less sellers maybe on Instagram that were independent and smaller coming through, because I don't think there's the same market for that. But again, I don't know if that's necessarily a bad thing. Let me know your thoughts on that as well. Let me know what you're thinking about this whole topic, because it's one that fascinates me. Thank you so much for watching me. I'm going to link Dale down below in the description box, because her video on this is also very relevant. If you've enjoyed this one in any way, please do consider giving it a thumbs up. If you haven't yet, please do consider subscribing. And if you're not done with me yet, I'm going to leave another video for you on the screen to enjoy. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for watching me. Please take care, and I will see you again in the next one.